Hi, everybody. It's Wednesday evening, and it's time for You Know What, Region Weather Live. We've got a busy show today. We've got a little active weather coming our way as we get it into Friday, bringing a strong to severe thunderstorm chance. I'll give you my thoughts on that. I'm not overly impressed at this point. There's not a big push with this front, but our atmosphere is going to be able to support some big storms given how hot and how humid will be. So there's that. So we'll talk about that. A lot of you have weekend plans, so we'll discuss how the weekend's going to shape up. And as always, we'll take you through the long range forecast, all on this Wednesday evening edition of Region Weather Live. And welcome in, everybody. I'm Region Weather Meteorologist Matt Wintz. Nice to meet you if we haven't met yet. For those of us that have been in this family for a long time, I want to say hi to you. Abigail, good evening to you. Aaron, hello. Amy, hi. Gregory, Courtney, Brenda, hello. Jeff, thanks for joining us, buddy. Deshaun, good to talk to you as well. I hope you guys are all enjoying your week. We have a very summer-like day on the way tomorrow. It's going to be one of those real prize winners that we can get out and actually enjoy it. And then we talk thunderstorm chances on Friday. So we're going to take you through all that. Again, the way these work, I'll give you some of the analysis over the next couple of days on what to expect, let you know why maybe your phone app is saying exactly what it's saying and what could change with that. We'll plan out your weekend for you as well. And then, as always, at the end, we'll answer any questions you might have about anything weather related. If you get into sports, I can answer some of those. If it's about astronomy, we'll see. I'm not an astronomer, but I get a lot of those questions as well. But we'll talk all that here in this edition of Region Weather Live. As always, want to thank our sponsors, Tiger Plumbing, first and foremost. They've been with us since January. They are like family. And please, guys, they keep the show for free. They keep all this stuff for free, which, I just appreciate so much. I can't tell you from the bottom of my heart, but Tiger Plumbing is one of those family-owned companies. They've been in Northwest Indiana for a long time, 40 plus years. You probably don't need a plumber, but if you ever do, tigerplumbing.net, they come out for free. To me, that is such a big deal. Most people charge $90 just to come analyze the problem. They come out for free, analyze the problem, and then they'll do their business, whatever it happens to be that you need. But a leaky flapper on the toilet, 20,000 gallons a month. Are you kidding me? Anything wrong with your plumbing, call Tiger Plumbing, and it's tigerplumbing.net. Our other sponsors since January, they're with us all summer long. Grieger's Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram in Valparaiso. Fantastic family-owned business there. A lot of you have messaged me saying they are a fantastic business. We got our Jeep there or our Dodge there, whatever it happens to be. But they've got brand new Jeeps out in the lot. They're ready to go for summer, and you should be too. So contact Grieger's Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram in Valparaiso for your next car. All right, let's get into the forecast, shall we? We've got a lot going on. Not right now. We had the rain that moved through earlier today with the storm system that went by. A couple more late hellos there. Sarah, Stephanie, Kim, Sal, hello, you guys. And Faith, hello. Thanks for joining us here tonight. I appreciate the Region Weather family here as we all get together to geek out about weather. And I just like how many weather fanatics we have. It makes my heart smile. All right, so here's where we're going the next couple days. Tomorrow, as I mentioned, great day. We're going to have high pressure briefly settling in. There are some models that pick up on perhaps some storm chances. It's just a messy setup across the plains. This often happens in the summertime, where all the other times of the year you get clear-cut cold fronts where you have rain, when it's going to clear out, when it's going to start. You have snow, when that's going to start, when it's going to finish. This time of year it gets really messy. You get these chunks of moisture all over the place. Some of them create storms, some of them don't. So you notice on the modeling tomorrow, there's a couple storms that try to fire along this boundary. This is the warm front. So we're going to have a warm front that surges north tomorrow. You're going to feel it. You saw in our post earlier on this evening, I posted the Muggy meter, which shows our humidity over the next 6 days. And the humidity is ramping up tonight. Tomorrow, we'll call it humid. It's not going to be tropical, but you're going to feel it outside, especially with highs in the 80s. But that frontal boundary, that warm front, south of the warm fronts where you have the warm air, that warm front's going to be just off towards our north. So it may trigger a couple storms. If they get into Northwest Indiana, I would be surprised. I think most of them will be out over the lake if they do develop in northern Illinois. There's going to be a pretty good cap on the atmosphere, which really, everything's trying to rise, and the models are saying, yeah, there's a lot of heat and humidity. But what a cap is, it's an inversion aloft, basically, where the storms can't go above that. The clouds can't go above it, so they can't become thunderstorms or even rain clouds at that point. Sometimes that cap will break, and then the storms explode, right? But tomorrow, there's a pretty good cap in place, so we'll see if these storms are able to get going. Otherwise, I think tomorrow's just fine. We'll be in the 80s. It'll be warm. It'll be humid. It'll be a nice summer day. Chunk of storms will go by to the south. Models agree in that. I do too. That's just kind of roaming away from the actual frontal boundary. It's off of storms that develop in Denver tonight. And you can see as we get into Friday, here's what we have going on. A severe threat develops on Friday. Reason why: we've got a cold front that'll be punching in from the west. That cold front is a potent front. We go from 50s and 60s to the north to well into the 80s and even 90s as you get down towards the south. We're going to be on the warm side of things on Friday, so expect a warm and windy day on Friday, and we're likely going to see storms develop later on in the day. So here's what this latest model does. This is the latest HRRR, and you can see how we set up this boundary. There's no storms yet. This is early afternoon. You get kind of the shield of moisture with just some showers. It's waiting on a cap to break, right? We've got that area of energy that's surging north into the atmosphere, surging up in the atmosphere. It can't quite break through. Once that cap breaks, I think these storms are going to explode pretty quickly on Friday. Where they explode is the big question. This front has slowed down over the last couple model runs, but it does look like it's going to be somewhere either in northern Illinois over northwest Indiana. I'll get that out eventually. But the thing is with this on Friday, our storm threat isn't going to be something that we see moving in. A lot of times they'll let you know, hey, we've got storms that'll be moving in from the west. We'll be able to track them on radar Friday. I don't think that's the case on Friday. These storms are likely going to pop in or around northwest Indiana. So it's going to be one of those things where when you see darkening skies Friday afternoon and evening, that's when you might want to bring things in, because you're not going to see it on radar first. All right. So I want to pick up that story a little bit further here, and I'll show you this. This is the Storm Prediction Center threat for severe weather. You notice we're in a 2 out of 5 in terms of the threat for that, or actually that would be a 3 out of 5. That's a slight risk across northwest Indiana. Bottom line, that means we have a pretty good chance, not just here, but Illinois up towards Michigan, of seeing some severe thunderstorms around here as we get on into Friday, right? So Storm Prediction Center's there. They agree with this as well. So let's pick up that story even further. Our high-res models that we have that can show exactly what the radar looks like, they don't quite go out that far. They will as of tomorrow, but as of tonight, they don't quite get into that Friday afternoon, evening time range. So we have to pick up some of the global models, which are a little bit higher resolution or lower resolution, but they still give us a pretty good idea of what's going to happen. So this is the Euro run, and I agree with this. Here's where we picked it off, or where we left off with the HRRR model, where we have kind of those rain showers that are starting to develop out in Illinois, heading up towards Lake Michigan and Michigan itself. And here's Friday afternoon, here's Friday evening. You see how the Euro develops big old storms right over northwest Indiana, Illinois, up towards Michigan, right along that frontal boundary. Some of those storms on Friday, if we talk threats, there's not a ton of shear present, so I don't see this as a huge tornado threat on Friday. I do see it as a very heavy rain threat. I see it as perhaps some hail. We're going to be pretty warm here at the low levels, but there's some cold air punching in back behind, and I do see a damaging wind threat with these. So we're going to have to keep an eye on it. Bottom line, I'll have my eyes on Friday. We'll give you coverage as needed as we go throughout the afternoon and evening. That's for sure, okay? As we get into Friday night, everything kind of dies out. We'll likely have some leftover rain around. Here's what's changed in the models over the course of the week. They've slowed this system down. Earlier this week, this cold front was supposed to it was going to come in, it was going to go through slowly, but it was going to get out of here. Over the last couple model runs, what we've seen is this front is now coming in. It's kind of doing a double take where it comes in, it stalls briefly, and then it gets another kick out of here. So what that does for us is it keeps this frontal boundary around Saturday. What happens on Saturday, though, I think we're going to get on the backside of this front, but just barely. So our temperatures are going to come down. And the severe threat, I think, will be south and east. That's my thinking right now on this. South and east would be just outside of the region weather coverage area. Perhaps Stark County may get in on this. But again, this is going to be something we'll have to keep our eye on. It all depends on where the storms and how far that front moves on Friday. That dictates what happens on Saturday. But I know a lot of you have weekend plans. And Saturday, we are going to still carry a storm threat. You can see the Euro here bringing more storms developing, mainly south and east of us. But you can see the showery activity has back towards Illinois and Wisconsin. I would plan for rain on Saturday still. Severe weather threat, I think, looks lower as long as that front gets through. But again, we're still going to have rain around as the system kind of stops, and then it reloads and heads down to the south and the east as another wave of low pressure moves by. So by Saturday night, we're still dealing with the rainfall chances, says the Euro, as this front still hung up over the area. And then Sunday will feature a little kick. It gets a kick from the west. Eventually, this whole system gets out of here. So Sunday, as of right now, looks much better than Saturday. But again, it's still in question. This is a really tricky front to forecast. It seemed really easier earlier this week when it came in with a line of storms. The line of storms was out of here and it's gone. The whole fact that this thing is stopping and it's kind of reloading right over Northwest Indiana all dictates that you may have storms that develop, they crash, and then they redevelop again based on what happens the day before. So certainly a tricky forecast, but Friday we have a severe threat. Saturday, I think our severe threat's a little bit lower, but we'd have a rain threat. And then Sunday, we should be clearing out with improving conditions by the hour. Can this speed up? It certainly can. We could get this thing out of here by Saturday evening and we all would be well. Can it slow down? It could, but I think it's slowed down enough. I don't see it slowing down much more in the models. I think Sunday's pretty safe at this point with that clearing sky or whatever improving condition that we're talking about. As we get into next week, we've got a pretty chilly pattern that's going to set up. We're going to get cooler across the Great Lakes. Not cold by any means, but cooler for this time of year. And then you can see our next system arrives as we get into Tuesday and Wednesday of next week. That looks to be a pretty potent low. If that gets a little bit further north, we would have a severe threat with that. And again, that would be Tuesday into Wednesday. But as of right now, with that low passing right over the region, that looks to be mainly just a rain and some thunder threat. But it looks like the severe threat would stay south as of now. And models agree greatly on that. So I think that's pretty much going to happen next Tuesday and Wednesday. Plan for some rain around. And then we'll clear things out again with another cooler air mass coming in on Thursday, Friday of next week. In terms of temperatures, this is the last thing I want to talk about. Then we'll answer your questions. Temps are really interesting on this. I'm going to go, I don't know if I can get closer on this or not. Let me see. Let me see if I go full screen. You can probably see that better. Yeah, you can see that a little bit better. Here are your temperatures tomorrow morning. We'll be in the 50s tonight, comfortably cool, right? So tomorrow will be a nice, cozy start. You'll need a jacket probably out the door, but boy, it won't last long. We warm quickly tomorrow. We'll warm up into the 80s. You can see all that warm air all across Northwest Indiana. No lake breeze tomorrow, so we'll be good with that. And then as we go through Friday, this is going to be our hot and humid day. Thursday night lows. If you remember Sunday night, we were talking on Region Weather Live about how Thursday night was going to be that warm summery night. Well, it certainly looks like it still. Here's your Thursday night. Temperatures only dropped to about 68 degrees or so. So it's going to be one of those real summery nights tomorrow night to get on out and enjoy. And then here's Friday. Watch the heat. Look at that. We're up upper 80s, near 90 degrees. But look at the sharp cool down there in the 60s in Wisconsin. That's what's going to trigger those storms, likely firing up either over the region or in areas of northern Illinois. And then here's what I'm talking about on Saturday. So rain comes in Friday night. Watch how temps go quickly Friday evening from 82 down into the 60s and 50s. That's the wind churning off the lake. I think that's what sets us up on Saturday for a cool wind off the lake, which will help to stabilize us versus the severe threat that'll be a little bit further south and east. And here's what the Euro's saying for Saturday high temperatures. Notice how it rebounds, but look at this cutoff. I mean, we've got 84 degrees in Indianapolis, 84 near Fort Wayne, and then we drop down into the 60s with the wind off the lake. Much cooler, much more stable here locally, but still that rain threat around on Saturday. And then Sunday looks cooler. You can see the shadow of the lake setting up there on Saturday night. And then Sunday, here are your morning temperatures waking up perhaps in the 40s, and we'll struggle to get in the 60s on Sunday. It's going to be a pretty chilly day around here once that front goes by. The last thing I want to show you briefly, I wasn't going to, but I think this is interesting enough to show, is the dew points. This measures how muggy that air feels. Remember, we talked about this last week. When you have dew points in the 60s, you call it humid. And here's where we're going. This is tomorrow. Dew points will be in the 60s. Friday, we'll have dew points pooling out ahead of that front in the mid and upper 60s. So pretty humid around here on Friday. But watch how quickly this humidity goes away with this front. You can see Friday night, that cold front comes in with some of the rain and the storms, and it drops our dew points down into the 50s. And then Sunday looking really refreshing around here as we have real dry air coming in. We'll have dew points down into the 40s. So looking pretty impressive in terms of that cooler air pool coming in on Sunday and Monday. All right. Happy to answer your questions for sure. We'll get you going on that, and then we'll get you on your way here on this Wednesday evening. Anthony needs the rain to go away on Saturday. Anthony, I know this whole front slowed down, and it's it's coinciding with the weekend, which doesn't help, I know. But it was so nice earlier this week. Everything just kind of moved on out. Friday we had storms. Saturday was fine, and this whole thing is doing like kind of a double clutch, so it's going a lot slower. So I would love to for sure. Skylar, we'll keep you updated on that. Let's see. We're home all day on Friday, myself and my 2-year-old. Skylar, I got you covered. Don't you worry about it. Skylar's worried about the severe weather on Friday. We'll get through it. I mean, we get severe weather this time of year, and most of the time, it doesn't hit exactly where you live. So we should be okay on that. Supposed to go to Michigan City Zoo on Friday. What do you think? Ooh, Erica, I think it depends on what time. If you can go earlier in the day, the better. So if you have a morning trip to the zoo, I think you'll be okay. It's really midday towards early afternoon that we're going to watch for storms to fire. And I really think they get going more towards the afternoon and probably even the evening. If they fire up in Illinois in the afternoon, we'll still have a little bit of time to watch them as they move in, but they're going to fire up somewhere in the vicinity. But I think if you have a morning trip, just pack some water because it's going to be hot and humid on Friday. Kim, yeah, we've had threatening weather for sure, but we haven't had any big storms around here. I mean, we haven't really gotten hit hard with any severe weather this spring so far. So we've been lucky to that extent. Friday's interesting. It's not a real decent setup. It's not something that I would flag and say, you know what, tornado threat on Friday, this is going to be a big day. It's kind of a what if situation still. We haven't had any real clear-cut severe weather situations yet. But again, the heat's going to be there. We're going to be well into the 80s, if not near 90. Humidity is going to be there as well. And you've got the clash of air masses coming in with real cool air coming in from the northwest. So that's what makes it interesting with this one. The forcing is the thing that kind of lacks with this. What I mean by forcing, if you get a real strong punch, a real strong cold front moving from west to east, you have good forcing. There's good push with that cold air that causes the warm air to lift. This one doesn't have a lot of reason for the air to lift up. It will eventually, but the forcing I'm not really impressed with this. So it's going to be interesting to watch for sure. We'll all learn from this one. Faith needs to finish mowing the yard. I know. That's funny. Yeah, man, if you could do it tomorrow, Faith, that would be great for sure. That would be awesome if you could do that. But the cooler weather is certainly going to follow. Let's see. Amy asks, how different is it to forecast our Northwest Indiana weather compared to your Ohio weather where you're located? Amy, it's pretty similar. I've forecasted next to a Great Lake for like 12 plus years now. And for those of us that don't know, I'm a meteorologist at WKYC in Cleveland. That's where I am right now. Region weather I started years ago when I forecasted at WYIN, Lakeshore Public Television, with Jody Jewell, Joe Arredondo. I just looking at an old picture of all of us together. Man, that was such a good time, and such good folks there. But I used to be the chief meteorologist in Maryville. Realized that Northwest Indiana doesn't have weather coverage because Chicago doesn't care about Northwest Indiana. We have lake effect snow all the time. So that's how region weather is created. But I am in Cleveland now. So great question, Amy. We have lake breezes just like we do in the region. Everything's pretty similar. And it actually helps my forecasting here locally because everything happens pretty much a day in advance. And I remember one specific incident where we had, and I was forecasting freezing rain or freezing drizzle in Northwest Indiana. It wasn't showing up in the models. It wasn't showing up on radar, but we had it. And I was able to take that air mass the next day and call for it here in the Cleveland area when the models weren't showing it, and we nailed it. We had freezing drizzle. So it certainly helps out, but everything is really, really similar in terms of the setup. And I always feel like when storms come in here too, they tend to fizzle, which happens. The Northwest Indiana split, we call it, right? Everything kind of splits. Deshaun asks, great question, Deshaun. Matt, will this be one of those QLCS systems or squall line storms? QLCS is a term for a line of storms that you might have on radar that typically pack a punch where you have quick spin up tornadoes along it and damaging wind threat. That's a good question, or just a damaging straight line threat or other severe storm factors. Great question, Deshaun. So on Friday, it doesn't look like a QLCS. There's not a strong front moving through. It looks to be more pop-up storms that will eventually kind of congeal into a line, but it doesn't look like a real strong push of a line that ends up roaring through areas, causing a seiche on Lake Michigan, and causing all problems like that. It's a unique setup that I do think we formed some kind of line out of it, but eventually it's not going to really move that far. It's not going to move, hundreds of miles in a day like you'd see with a QLCS line. So damaging winds, I think, will be main threat. We'll likely have some hail. Have to keep an eye on the tornado threat. I'm not too impressed with it right now, though. Faith, you're welcome. Okay, Eric is talking about Michigan City. I got you. Yeah, we already talked about that. That's good. Daniel's teaching an outdoor class in Crete on Saturday, 12 to 3. Saturday's interesting, Daniel. I think we'll have some kind of rain around. It's really too tough to tell hour by hour exactly where that goes right now, for sure. Nicole and Coffee, hello. I hope you're not a bot joining us on our YouTube channel, but hello, how are you doing? We're doing well. Thank you for joining us on our Region Weather YouTube page. Aaron says Sunday, 9:15 a.m. flag football game in Lowell. I think so, Aaron. The Euro kind of lags that moisture a little bit later than the rest, but as of right now, I think you'll be okay. And I think you'll be the recipient of lower humidity, and it should be pretty comfortable for flag football. That sounds really fun at 9:15 in the morning. I'll be finishing up my I'll be starting my last hour of the morning show on Saturday. No, I won't on Sunday. I forgot. I'm not doing Sunday mornings anymore. I'm doing the Saturday morning. It's my last weekend morning. I'll be running the Cleveland half marathon on Sunday at that time. So wish me luck. That'll be a lot of fun. We've got the big race in town, so we've been forecasting for that. And it looks like there's going to be rain and storms around. So just our luck. So it's going to be a busy week in our weather center for sure. Sal, absolutely welcome, buddy. Yeah, we've been doing this, or I've been doing this for 7 or 8 years now, something like that. So I appreciate you joining us, and I appreciate your trust as well. Skylar, the Northwest Indiana split, totally gets it. Erica, you're welcome. Sabia, the purple on here, so the map you're looking at right now is the dew points. This is how much humidity is in the atmosphere. I was going through showing how drier air is eventually going to come in here. So the purple on here is comfortable air. When you have a dew point in the 40s, that tells you basically there's no humidity. You don't feel the humidity. Whereas 60s and 70s, that's what we'll have the next 2 days. It's going to be humid. So we've got real refreshing air coming in here on Sunday, which would be really nice. That's okay, Erica. I think I probably got it, Erica, because I'm using, you see it in the corner, StreamYard. And so as soon as you type a comment, it sends it in this feed right here. So yeah, sorry. Make sure you say what you mean to say. Don't say anything you don't want to say, because I'll see it for sure. Thank you, Aaron. I appreciate it for sure. All right, guys, we'll get you on your way. I hope that better explains the weekend. And next week, as I mentioned, is looking on the cooler side of things, probably a lot of 60s and 70s. We're going to have periodic shower chances next week as well. I don't see any huge warm-ups. I don't see any huge dry spells. So our gardens that we got in, the tomatoes, all that stuff, they're looking good. In terms of sunshine, we'll have some of that too. But again, our threat is going to be on Friday. It's not a huge threat for severe weather, but there certainly is going to be a lot of instability in that atmosphere, and will likely trigger storms in the afternoon and evening. They could pop over us or just west of us. But I'll have updates for you as we go throughout the Friday. I'm off on Friday, so we'll be manning the radar here and keeping you updated as we go throughout the day. And then the weekend, Saturday, looking kind of rainy at this point. The front should be through, but barely. So we'll likely have some rain off of storms down to the south. We'll likely have some showers coming in from the west. It doesn't look like a washout, but there's just a good chance of rain at all times. And then Saturday night, Sunday, hopefully we can clear things out as it looks right now. Okay. All right, that's it. Enjoy your Wednesday night. Get through the rest of the work week. We're almost there. It's almost time for the weekend. And I can't believe it's May 18th already. That just blows my mind that we are this late into May and that it's almost June around here. So we have turned the corner, folks. We just got to get through the severe weather event and we can get back to some nice weather again. Okay. All right. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you personally on Sunday night, and we'll have updates as we go throughout the time. We'll probably see you on Friday too. We'll probably